Hello and welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we bring to you the major and top highlights of tonight. Let's follow. A seminar on Djibouti's diplomacy with international and regional institutions. Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And in our international scene in Sudan, a one-week ceasefire starting on Monday. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Institute of Diplomatic Studies hosted on May 21st, 2023, a seminar on Djiboutian diplomacy in the face of international and regional institutions. Organized by the IED in partnership with the European Union in Djibouti and co-chaired by His Excellency Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, in the presence of a representative of the European Union in Djibouti. As usual, the seminar was opened by the director of the Institute of Diplomatic Studies, Mr. Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa, who, without further ado, made a word of welcome to officials and other guests from different institutions and ministerial departments. The seminar will explore the theme of diplomacy with a particular focus on the role that small countries can have in multilateral diplomacy, given the global and local challenges that characterize our time. Let us recall that this seminar will be spread over 5 days, and today it was a question of discussing, among other things, the specificities of the role of diplomats in multilateral constitutions, the world order in view of the action of the UN, the negotiations in multilateral organizations, the different agencies and their functions. The seminar will provide theoretical elements on the functioning of multilateral institutions such as the United Nations in a framework of international relations by 2030, as well as practical tools on scenario analysis with public presentations. In turn, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation explained that the world is changing rapidly and that geopolitics is taking a new slope. The Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, and the Director General of the National Agency for Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Duali Said Mahmoud, signed this morning an annual work plan of action for the schooling of children with special needs. The meeting took place at the headquarters of MEMFOP in the presence of the Director General of Administration and Acting Secretary General of MEMFOP, Mr. Saleh Alwan, the head of the EABS Department, Mr. Idris Mu'min, many senior officials of MEMFOP and EMPH, as well as the technical team of PTA took part in this meeting. This annual work plan established by both parties, MEMFOP and the MPH, defines the forecast of relevant and feasible actions during the first year. This precursory step is part of a larger process spread over 5 years that consists in involving more structures likely to contribute favorably to the schooling of EABS. This signature of an annual work plan of action aimed at presenting the five main axes of the national strategy of schooling of children with special needs, namely the awareness of action envisaged and organizing the schooling, the material conditions, the poles of handicap, the construction of specialized establishments, the transport, the needs and healthcare favoring the schooling, and the finally contribution of statistical data relating to PH and ESH particularly. Finally, the two parties, MEMFOP and EMPH, are committed to the implementation of the strategy of inclusive education and quality in order to meet the challenge of schooling for children with disabilities. The Ministry of Housing, Mrs. Amina Abdiadin, continues her working missions in Ali Sibih on Sunday 21st, 2023, accompanied by senior officials of her department. This working mission follows her previous missions, whose main objective is the monitoring the evolution of the urban situation, especially to take stock with the local and deconcentrated authorities of the projects and other studies in progress in accordance with the orientations of the Master Plan of Development in Urbanism. Upon her arrival in the city of Azajog, the minister and her delegation were welcomed by the Prefect of the region of Ali Sibeh, Mr. Musa Adan Migane, and the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Sharmanki Hassan Alale, and the parliamentarians of the region. As she had committed herself during her previous working mission, the Minister of City Urbanism and Housing also proceeded to the inauguration and installation of a deconcentrated branch of the services of her department for the southern regions, namely Ali Sibih and Dakhil, including the allocation of the necessary human and technical means, notably the computer and logistic equipment, service vehicle. This new office will greatly contribute to the rapprochement of the state and its citizens. Thereafter, the minister had a long meeting with the authorities of the region, the parliamentarians, the chiefs of the different districts, and the representatives of the deconcentrated technical departments to exchange on the urban development issue of the city. On this occasion, the minister affirmed her commitment to closely follow the implementation and application of the orientations of the project of the city of Ali Sibeh. Furthermore, she stressed the importance and relevance of analyzing the diagnosis in the framework of the study in the detailed urban development plans. For the minister, it is a question of studying the ways and means to bring adequate answers in coherence with the sustainable urban development in the aspect of urban planning documents. During the meeting at the Regional Council of Ali Sibeh in the presence of administrative and local authorities, officials of the deconcentrated services and heads of neighborhoods and representatives of civil society, the Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs, Mrs. Amina Abdi Aden, thanked the local authorities for the warm welcome she extended to her and the delegation accompanying her. Another achievement for the Ismail Umar Gelle Foundation for Housing, with the ceremony of handing over the keys to the beneficiaries of 30 social housing units in Holhol, ceremony organized by the foundation with the participation of the Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity, a trip therefore in the framework of the actions of the foundation that has just concretized once again this project financed by the Kuwaiti Fund to help the neediest inhabitants of Holhol. The Ministry of Social Affairs and Solidarity intervened in these achievements in the selection of beneficiaries based on the eligibility criteria and the selection mechanism for the social register. The selected families met this criteria, which include being in a situation of extreme poverty, not having housing, having several children to support, including situations of disability. After Djibouti City, all the regions of the interior have benefited from the actions of the foundation's actions that depassed for some time the chief towns for a care of populations living outside these areas and who are really in need. On this past Saturday, under the auspices of the Ministry of Youth and Culture, took place in Dikhel City, Anonymous City of Unity, the ceremony of laying the stone of a new CDC. Upon arrival at the site, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mu'min Asawi, and her colleague, the Minister of Delegate in charge of decentralization, Mr. Ghasim Harun Ali, were warmly welcomed by the high authorities of the region, namely the Prefect Adan Darar Musa and the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Mahad Hussein Ahmed. The colorful ceremony was also attended by the civil and military authorities of the Okar region, as well as the participation of technical adversaries and senior officials of the both ministries. In their speeches, the senior officials of the region said they were pleased with the laying of a stone for the construction of a new CDC in Dikhel, which they were looking forward to. The Ministry of Decentralization, Mr. Ghasim Harun, said that he was confident that the Dikhel community would live up to the ambitions of this new CDC, which offers real tools for community integration and socio-professional insertion in favor of the youth. In addition, Dr. Hibo Mumin Asawi stressed that this stone laying is part of the government's policy to reinvigorate the structures of socio-cultural integration in accordance with the roadmap of the government, which wants to make these platforms the spearhead of an inclusive development. The Regional Council of Dikhel hosted this morning the kickoff of the National Week of Unity organized by the Regional Council in close collaboration with the Prefecture of Dikhel, an event long awaited by the Dikhel people and chaired by the Prefect, Mr. Adan Darar Musa, and the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Mahad Hussein Ahmed. The Vice, in addition to the senior officials, this large-scale event also saw the participation of customary leaders, the wise men of the region from all the sub-prefectures of the Dikhel region. The festivities of Unity, the first of its kind, will be spread over a week from 21 to 26 of this month and will be organized in different places of the capital of the region of Dikhel. Organized for the first time, and this mobilizing event aims to promote the richness of a regional culture as well as national in order to consolidate and strengthen the national unity, which is the identity of Djiboutians. This national event will be the occasion to invite the regions of the interior as well as the three communes of the city of Djibouti, so that the National Week is a total success. The festivities of this unity money which will be spread over a period of week are distributed under different themes, namely the revalorization of the values of the ancestral traditions for a better management of the social conflicts, to bring the young people has to contribute for the preservation of the peace, the unity and the social cohesion, and several other themes whose only and unique objective is the reinforcement of the living together and the consolidation of the peace, the unity, and also the social cohesion. Our country is characterized by sustained economic growth and the spectacular transformation of the city. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of real estate developers very active in the construction of housing. They are integral, but we will focus for those who will provide more in quantity and quality, which led us to direct us to the company Al Hamdani. Since its installation in the country, the Al Hamdani Group has launched the construction of residential projects, and this is a steady pace. The Hamdani Group has implemented the first project in the district of Biki 12, namely the Roabi Djibouti project, composed of two phases that saw the construction of a total of 167 duplex villas, 7 buildings, and of 42 apartments with commercial premises. The residential project also includes recreational areas and places of worship, including mosques. This notably in this Sunday, May 21st, the Al Hamdani Group launched the third phase of the city Rawabi of Bika 12. The work of the third phase is in full swing and 3 villas are already out of the ground. It is planned to build 80 villas of F6, each built on 224 meters 2 squares and 300 meters and 2 squares. We were able to see this morning during a report of foundations and the base of which these villas will be built. The chief engineer of the project said in an interview that the Hamdani Group is distinguished with new building materials in this project, including bricks capable of retaining the cold. Mr. Manwar Nazih Al-Adami said that the materials that will be built with these villas defy the loss of time, and these houses can have a duration of resistance of more than 70 years. Let's listen to him.
In collaboration with the Ministry of Urbanization and Environment, along with LCPE, the Central Laboratory, we used Buzulaning cement blocks for the construction of all villas in Phase 3, Rawabi City project. This kind of blocks has high thermal insulation properties, which will lead to reducing the electricity consumption for air conditioning and cooling of houses. Using this kind of Buzulanic blocks in this project is considered a step forward towards sustainable construction and enhancing energy consumption efficiency for buildings, especially in hot climates like Djibouti.
SOS Children's Villages organized an end of a school year ceremony at the Hermin Gymnasium Nursery School in Tajura. The ceremony was attended by highly respected personalities from the region, including Sultan Ali Habib and Mr. Ali from the Islamic School of Tajura, as well as representatives from the Ministry of Education and Health. The ceremony began with the reading of a verse from the Quran by Muhammad Ali, one of the children of the kindergarten. Then the program director took the floor to thank everyone for their presence and explained how SOS Children's Village helps children in Djibouti through its different programs such as education initiatives, families training, and youth empowerment. A parent whose child attended the school also explained that he never regretted his decision, emphasizing the quality of education provided by SOS, which makes a difference in many lives across the region. Traditional dances were then performed by some of the students, followed by plays. Finally, all the children received gifts before a group photo was taken, marking the success of this eventful day. This year, the youngsters of the Djiboutian Academy benefited from the support of Djiboutian supporters in France. Members of the Djiboutian diaspora traveled throughout France to support the youth of the Republican Guard Academy, who are participating for the third time in the International Tournament of Soccer Academies. In reaction, Mohamed Elaye, Djiboutian diaspora, having made the trip from Nenet, said he was proud to support our young prodigies who made the trip to raise our flag. He then congratulated the Football Club Academy of the Republican Guard and encouraged other clubs to take example. Shifting gears towards the international scene now, let us take you to Sudan. Representative of the Sudanese army, led by the General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and the Parliamentary Rapid Support Forces, led by General Mohammed Hamdan Daglo, have agreed to 1-week ceasefire. Starting Monday, the United States and Saudi Arabia announced in a joint statement on Saturday this truce could be extended with the arrangement of both parties, noted the statement issued by U.S. Department of State Saturday evening. According to the statement, the two sides agreed to facilitate the delivery and distribution of humanitarian assistance, restore essential services, and withdraw troops from hospitals and critical public infrastructure. By this, our beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.